Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
You're watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and today my beautiful guest is not a new person to this show. In fact, she has been on not so long ago, but by popular demand, she is back. Welcome, Patricia Monna.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here with you.
Well, I love all the time I spend with you because you are an awakened individual. And I'm trying to wake up, and I'm trying to get a lot of my friends to wake up. And so I thought, it would be great to bring you back and for you to share more of your enlightenment with us. So a lot of people do not believe that there's anything in existence outside of this physical world that we live in. Can you speak to that?
You know what? I have seen so much that I have to absolutely disagree with the skeptics, but I truly believe that the only difference between a skeptic and a believer is the experience. And I've had so many now that there's just no way that I would ever sit there and say, oh yeah, once you're dead, you're dead. That's it. No. I wouldn't have a job. I'm way too honest of a person. If I wasn't communicating with the other side daily, I wouldn't be so busy.
So when you were a young girl, did anyone in your family have this gift, or was it something that you were raised with in your family?
Well, my mom was from Dublin, Ireland. And so being Irish, she was very superstitious and very psychic herself. And she did tell me, I never met my grandparents, but I remember my mom telling me that her mom also had this. And when I was growing up, and my mom always read books on psychics and ghost stories, even though she went to church every Sunday as a Christian. It was weird. But I remember one night, my mom sat up till 4 a.m. saying, I hear the banshee, someone's gonna die. And she wouldn't let my brother or I out of the house. She made us stay home. And finally, and I stayed up with her till about 4 a.m. And then finally went to bed. And when I woke up in the morning, my mom had said to me, she goes, I finally went to bed at 5:23 a.m. I could finally fall asleep. And we got a phone call at 8:30 in the morning saying that our neighbor had died at 5:22 a.m. So my mom couldn't sleep until after the neighbor died. So that should have been my first indication that there was something up with our family. Yeah, there was numerous things that my mom had predicted, and then it came to pass, but she was petrified of it. She was very scared of it. So she ended up, actually, when she died with the nightlight on. She wouldn't go to bed in the dark. She was so scared of it.
She was afraid of the dark?
Oh yeah, and afraid of all of this stuff because she could feel spirits around. My mom could absolutely feel them, but she couldn't see them. And so I think she thought that, if you turn the lights off, all of a sudden they're going to come out of the shadows. And I understand that because for many years I was petrified of the dark, couldn't sleep in the dark. But now I'm at peace because I understand what's going on.
So, oh my goodness, so do you feel that sort of prepared you for when you realized you had the same gift?
Yes, because it wasn't so weird by the time I stepped into it because my mom had talked a lot about it. But it wasn't until I was in my 20s when I was in nursing that I really realized that there was something going on because I could walk into a room and scan a patient from head to toe. And, I could feel where their cancer was and what stage it was and exactly what it was. And at first I kind of thought that every nurse could do this. I didn't realize that I had an ability that other people didn't have, because to me, it just came across as a knowing, an instant, well, I know that. I didn't know how I knew it. I just knew it.
So when the information came to you, did you go to the doctor and go, I know what's wrong with Mrs. Jones? Her cancer is in here. Did you ever do that?
They used to put bets on me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, they used to put bets on me on if I could get it or not. So yeah, it's interesting. And it's because I'm super sensitive to energy. And when there is an illness within the body, I see it as a distortion of energy within their field and then within their body. And when I tune into that distortion, it kind of opens up and I can see exactly what it is. So yeah, I guess it sounds more complex than it is. It just pops in and I know it.
Well, this leads me to a point that I feel this is the right juncture to address. And it is that most scientifically trained minds refuse to accept this because there's no formula that they can use to justify its existence in their minds.
Absolutely.
You were working with doctors and telling them this. Tell us the reaction you got from them. And did you turn them into believers before you left the profession?
I don't know. It was just something that, that we did. But I wasn't operating as a psychic or anything. I was a nurse. And I had left nursing for about 2 years before I jumped over and did this stuff. And so it wasn't that, I was known as the hospice psychic or anything like that. It was just, something that we would do, on coffee break and stuff. And, yeah, I've read for quite a few of the people that I used to work with, for sure.
But didn't they see you like, how do you know this information? How is it possible that you could know this? And didn't they, because when I was little, I had a gift and I was raised with my mother, but not my father. And I was not in touch with him. And so no one on my mother's side that I was raised with could identify with how I could tell them these things. And for me, it came in dreams and it always happened and it still does. And so I grew up feeling very sorry for myself that I had this weird gift and I was a stepchild. So you added the stepchild to the gift. And then I was like feeling sorry for this poor family that was doomed with me.
Aww.
It was really, and I really felt sad for being alive because there's so many things that were different with me that nobody could explain. And as I grew older, I eventually connected with my father's side of the family. And then I found out this is a gift my grandmother had. And as I developed spiritually, it got stronger. So I know how people frown upon you when you have gifts that they can't identify with and they think you're nutty. And I know I'm not a nut. That's why I'm comfortable doing this because I don't care about people's judgments. Since you have started doing this work, why do you think it's important that people at least have an open mind?
Well, because it's kind of like what it says in the Bible, the kingdom of heaven is within you, and every single one of us are psychic. We all have that connection to the spirit realm. It's just how many of us try, how many of us even pray anymore or meditate or go within, because it's a journey of 1,000 steps, and it's very much a spiritual experience. Because when you realize that there is a whole other realm that we can connect with, and it's there and it's tangible. That's the thing. It becomes tangible. I've caught so much on tape. I found 29 missing people. How did I do that? I didn't kill anybody. I found people when I'm sitting in Calgary on the phone with Texas Search and Rescue, and I'm walking them literally up to the body. How did I do that? Right?
Tell us about that.
Well, it's just when I tune into a target, as long as I can see into that vibration. There's really nothing that I can't see. It opens up and it's almost like I'm there and I'm navigating with them. And so, yeah, I was called into the search This was May of 2015. And I might have mentioned it on the last time that I was on, where I found 6 out of 8 of the missing people. And ironically, I have one of the pictures from that case here. So what I have to do is I have to take what I see in my head, and I have to then go onto Google Earth and drop pins of where I believe that the search and rescue needs to look. And so here's an example. And I told them right off the bat, I can only find 6 out of the 8 because there's 2 resonant signatures that I can't even tune into. So this is a good example. It says it was stated the little boy was found on the Blanco River close to Water Park Road. The psychic appears accurate. Her pin's yellow, mine red. So you can see where I dropped the pins.
Wow, you were so close. Much
Right?
closer than theirs.
So, well, and yeah, this is where the bodies were found. And this is where I told them to search. That's exactly where I dropped the pins and I told them to search. And that's where they were found. So you can see it's almost spot on, right?
And you are in Canada, and this is in Texas.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't even leave I was sitting on my back deck doing the case when I gave them the coordinates. So, but the thing is that there's nothing special about me. That's what I really want to make very clear to your viewers, is that I'm just a mom. I've got 3 boys. I was a nurse for 13 years. I got my own practice now. I teach meditation. I teach classes, but there's nothing special. I just figured out that connection's there, right? And the thing is, I've learned to listen. So how do you listen? Become aware of your thoughts, because spirit often speaks to us in the form of telepathy. It's the same thing with when you really, really love a person and you think about them and then they call you, or you think about them and then you bump into them, that kind of a thing. That's quantum entanglement. And it is our thoughts that dictate our reality, right? Because our thoughts become our actions become our reality. So when it comes to quantum entanglement, it's the power of the subconscious mind. They get in there, they'll answer you. Even listen to the bounce back voice that happens to direct you in, and it feels like love. They actually have personalities. Your angels, your guides have personalities that will they'll show you their expertise if you just allow the conversation to unfold. And it sounds like you're talking to yourself in your head. It really does. But because they're in a field of energy and our thoughts are energy, it's very easy for them to become that bounce back voice where we can hear that direction coming from that plane. It's just, who knows it? Think of divine inspiration. Well, where does that inspiration come from? In spirit, right? We all come from spirit and we go back to spirit, because that's what we are.
So the day when you first found the first body, when your friend and you were having coffee and someone sent her the picture and said, can you tell us where it is? Is that the day you found out that you had this gift?
I had been going to, I think I went 2 or 3 times to my girlfriend's psychic development circle. So I was interested in it and I knew that I had something, but I wanted to see more. I wanted to do more. And that opportunity, it's always right place, right time. Because it was that call, had I not been at that psychic development class, I never would have been able to help that officer find that person, right? And it was that set working with law enforcement in motion. So I don't know, I think it's all right place, right time. Spirit will use you wherever you need to be. I knew I had an ability, I just didn't know to what extent, right? Because honestly, it's not like I see dead people walking through walls. It's not like I hear weird disembodied voices in my head. Even when I'm talking about listening to that bounce back voice, have a conversation with yourself in your head. Listen to who's talking to you. Pay attention, become the observer. That's what I'm talking about.
So are you currently working with them? Do they just contact you whenever they have a missing person? Are you like the CIA equivalent, or anybody in the world? Are you like their go-to person? We can't figure this out. Let's call Patricia.
If they know about me, my name has been passed around quite a bit. I've done work in everything from homicide to historical crimes. international disappearances, kidnappings. I've done lots, but it's really, if they know me and they call me and I'm there, absolutely.
Well,
And when it comes to the family, so I only take cases if it's the immediate family calling me in, or if it's the police officer calling me in. And even if it is the family members, I will ask for the contact information for the officer in charge of the investigation. Then what I do is I have a bunch of different things of proof that I've collected over time, where, my RCMP recommendations and just different recommendations from different law enforcement agencies and search and rescues, so they know that I've done this before. They can see my accuracy and then judge for themselves, because the cool thing is, though, I don't charge for this. So really, police officers have nothing to lose to use me. I mean, as long as they have an open mind and know my name, I'm in.
have you ever missed one? Have you ever sent them on a wild goose chase?
And been wrong?
Yeah.
I've been wrong before. Yes, I've been wrong before. I am absolutely not perfect. And that's another reason why I would never, ever dare to charge a person for a missing person case. The risk, I absolutely could be wrong. I'm human. And there are times where I've looked at a case going, how did I see that? Right? Because when I tune into a person, I get a conglomeration of all of their memories. And sometimes you can misinterpret what it is that you're seeing. There is no psychic out there that was 100% proof. And if they say they are, right there, I'd take my money and run. I would. But I'm accurate enough that they use me. And I found 29 missing people accurately, like where the bodies were where I said they would be.
And of those, how many on average, how many would you say you've missed? I'm just asking this for skeptics.
Well, it depends on how many I've done. Like, I've done so many cases. And then, I mean, I guess I can't really say, because there's still cases where they haven't been found. They just haven't been found. Either it's due to a lack of search and rescue or search and recovery at that point, or there might not be any remains to be found, right? It could also be that the person just isn't going to be found. And so there's too many variables for me to sit there and go, yes, I can do this 100%. There's no way anyone should dare to say that. Now, when it comes to my readings, I give a 100% money back guarantee on those, what I charge for people, because I stand beside what I see. And if I can't tune into a person, because like I said, I'm human, and I read probably about 2,500 a year. And
are you kidding me? You do 2,500 readings?
Yeah, about that in a year. And there's maybe 7 or 8 that I can't read in the whole year. So yeah, I try to let people know that, like, if I can't tune into you, there's no way I should have the right to charge you. And it doesn't matter if I just spent a whole hour trying to tune into you and it didn't work. I don't believe that the client should have to pay for that.
Is there a reason why you can't tune into some people? Is it that they're blocking their energies? What is it? Because I've had a friend who they can't read her energy.
It could be so many different things. It could be that she's not supposed to know certain things. It could also be the reader. Like, I've had days where I was blocked. I've had days where it was really weird, where it was just one person that I was blocked, and then it came out like the floodgates for the rest. So I don't know. It's weird. There's really no rhyme or reason to why a person can't read. It could be that they're having a bad day. I also know that if I'm stuck in my own stuff, like I'm worried about my own life stuff, that blocks it. So we have to be able to come to a space of neutrality if we want to be able to open those gates and read into someone else. Because if I'm concerned about my stuff, I'm going to stay on my vibration. I won't be able to get into yours.
Well, since our last show, I've had at least 10 friends who have scheduled readings with you. And they've all called me up and go, she's booked till August. Now they're telling me you're booked till September. So clearly you're very good. Now, do you teach classes to someone who may have this gift and they want some? I mean, if I want to fine tune my gift, I would want someone like you to teach me because you're clearly honest and you're not using this to make money. So, do you offer these classes? And could you tell us now so anybody watching can join a class?
Yeah, I just started a 4-part series called Quantum Psychic, Decoding the Matrix, where I'm going over exactly how I find a missing person, how I tune in, the tools that I use. It's going to be an awesome 4 weeks. So we just finished the first class yesterday. And, but normally, yes, I do teach psychic development. I teach meditation classes.
I took your meditation and I loved it. And I'm taking your next class because I got out of that meditation and I felt like a leaf, like I was just floating.
Awesome. Oh, I love hearing that. I love hearing that. Thank you. Yeah, and I truly believe that when we meditate in a group, we are creating that vortex of love, of light, where we're holding each other up in that sacred space, right? So it doesn't matter if we're all in the same room or if the intention is to just be in our spaces individually, we're still locking in and bringing in that light wave. So yeah, I'm glad that you came. That's awesome.
Yes, I really.
If anyone wants to check out my classes, what I've got going on online, it's my website is www.patriciamonna.com.
Patricia, you said that what you do, everybody has. But I don't know, is that true? Can anybody take your class and work to find bodies? Or do you have to have the wiring for it?
Well, I think that finding missing people is different than just being a psychic. Like when I'm doing a case, I'm using remote viewing, I'm using psychic mediumship, sometimes by location. There's clairvoyance. There's so many different ways to be able to tune in. Now, for looking for a missing person, I don't think the average person or the average psychic can do that. That you have to be accurate, because the thing is that police, it costs a lot of money to put a search together. So you have to be accurate at where you're sending them, right? So I don't think just anyone can see it as clearly. Sometimes I see bodies and cases so clearly that it's like, there's one there and I could put my life on it that there's one there. And then there's other times where it's like, I can't even find them. I can't even see them at all. So it really depends on the psychic strength that day, that what they're going through. There's so many different factors on that kind of a specialty, what can help or hinder it. But regular psychic work, it's so easy. We do it all the time. Police officers call it their spidey senses. So we all have it, that little hunch that something was going to happen before it happened. Well, that's just the baby steps of it. That's what the universe will point out to you so that you will delve deeper into the world of synchronicities and coincidences.
So I know you see the bodies and you can lead the police to them, but do you actually see the crime being committed?
Yeah, I want to view it. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I can see even where the body is laying versus a weapon. I also have something called Synaesthesia, where I see my letters and numbers and colors. And when someone is in their psychic zone, you are in your right brain. And when it comes to letters and numbers, that's left brain logic stuff, right? So when you're doing this, it is very difficult to be able to decipher names, letters, numbers, all of that stuff. So when I am tuning in, I will actually see like we'll say I'm chasing a license plate. I'll see a barcode of colors and I'll know what color corresponds with what letter and number it is. So, but our spirit guides they'll show us all differently, right? That's just the way mine has unfolded.
Wow. Are you afraid when you help the police that, the fact that you lead them to the body and you see the crime being committed? Are you ever worried about your safety?
No, I know of one case that found out that it was my information that led to his arrest. And he actually called and threatened me. But it all came out in court about it. But that one, he was convicted. He killed his parents and his sister. And so maybe I'll look over my shoulder in another 11 to 15 years. But no, I truly believe that if God gave me this important work to do, he's got to have my back. He has to, because the police because the police have made it very clear, like there's no protection that they offer me for doing this stuff.
They told you this?
Yeah. Like what protection are they going to give me for helping out? It's up to me to lay low.
Well, I hope this is not going to deter you.
You know what? I will do what is asked of me. I will always be of service to those who ask. So, yeah, however it comes, it comes. I take it one day at a time.
So I am grateful to you for the peace you bring the people that you've helped. God bless you for that.
Thank you.
So what is your, I know that you teach the classes, you teach the meditation, you work with the police, and now you're teaching people how to become psychics, how to do what you do. What else do you teach? So for anyone watching.
I also do retreats. I do international retreats. Normally I hold 2 amazing psychic awareness retreats in Sedona, Arizona, but because of this lockdown, I had to cancel a lot of them, all of them actually. But as soon as it's safe to travel, we're coming back down there because it's absolutely magic. What I do is there's so many beautiful natural vortexes in the area of Sedona that I take a group of 25 and we go and we meditate in all the vortexes, because in that energy field, it is so much easier to teach people because they're in the right vibration to be able to see it and feel it and understand it. So
this is just really awesome. For so many people, especially Christians, which is so frustrating to me because the Bible talks about this, but they knock it. They hear the word psychic and they think, ooh, like there's something so wrong with that. Why do you think this part of life is so frowned upon?
I think that they don't understand it. You have to look at what we're tuning into, because is there dark stuff out there? Yes, there is. There's witchcraft out there. There's occult magic. There's all that stuff. I don't go near that stuff at all. And I truly believe that there is a way to be able to get accurate information from going above by having that open personal relationship with your angels, with your spirit guides, with your source energy. And to me, it doesn't matter if you call it God, Buddha, Allah, ultimate energy, universe. There is something greater out there that is available to all of us. And I think if we just go within, you'll find it too. And once you get hooked up and you can hear that radio station 24/7, you don't want to turn it off because it's the greatest peace, right? It's like listening to the greatest song you've ever heard in your life. It changes you. It gets your energy back going. And that's what going into those angelic realms do. So my guided meditations are angel-based. We bring in the guardian angels, we bring in our spirit guides, and we connect with that higher self. We clear our chakras, get grounded, and then we allow ourselves to be healed in that sacred space that we all create together when we come quantumly as a group, right? So there's a whole world out there that if people just need to open their eyes and see it, because I'd rather live in magic than to live in misery. So I
Thank
feel much
you.
better.
Thank you very much. So for some people, another word that they think is strange, quite a few people that I know, is chakra. Can you explain the chakras for somebody watching this who isn't sure?
Yeah, sure. We have 7 chakras that go through our body. So starting with the crown chakra, this chakra connects us to the energy of the heavens. And then we have the third eye, and this is what our intuitive eye. So when someone is saying that they're seeing things or they're using their third eye, it's like closing your eyes and visualizing an apple, or closing my eyes and visualizing you on the screen. That's using your third eye. If the inner eye, the ability to be able to see and perceive inside instead of with these eyes, right? Then we have the throat chakra and the heart and the solar plexus and the sacral and the root chakra. And the funniest thing is that when these chakras get clogged, you can feel it. So, you know, when we're holding back our words and you feel that big lump in your throat that feels like it's closing up, that's actually your throat chakra going, yeah, I'm not working. My energy is getting jammed up. Same thing with when we have grief. Where do we feel it? Here in the heart. We feel heavy, physically heavy. Well, guess what? That's your heart chakra getting clogged. It's not spinning, right? So for anyone who's feeling the heaviness on their hearts, breathe in light and blast it out of your heart, and breathe it back in and blast it out again. And you'll slowly start to feel that heaviness shift, because it is actually energy. Same thing with when we're not telling our truth. These lower chakras are our truth centers. So where do we feel that poof that happens? You know, when we've either been scared and we get unrooted, ungrounded, or we're not telling our truth and we tell a lie, you're going to feel it in your belly, because that's where your truth centers are. So even when I'm doing a reading, I'm constantly scanning myself on how my energy is reacting to the person in front of me, because I can literally feel the energy go through them. And then I understand what's going on with them. You know, if they've got the heaviness here, I know, did they lose someone? You know, did they have a heart attack? Do they, you know, is there something wrong with their lungs? I'll go into it and I'll ask, and all of a sudden the answer will open up.
This is great. Thank you. Because a lot of people nobody teaches us these things. We grow up, and if you're raised religious, you are taught certain parts of the Bible that support the philosophy of the denomination that you belong to. No, a lot of it is left out of our teachings, which is why I want to do this, because I want to make people aware. There's so much more to this. We are not being taught everything, and we have to be diligent, because I feel like when you are not fully educated, you're missing out on blessings, and you can have different outcomes because you'll make different choices based on your knowledge. And so for this, you don't have to, even an atheist, this is true of every living person, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Patricia, whenever you and I are doing this, the time flies by. But before we go, what haven't I asked you that you want to leave on today's segment?
Probably how to shift their energy. So just take a moment, wherever you are, just close your eyes. And I want you to visualize a golden ray of the highest joy and peace coming down around you. And just take a nice, big, cleansing, deep breath in, and feel that light merge all the way to the center of your core. And just breathe out and release what no longer serves you, and you will feel that immediate shift. Open up your pores as they breathe, your skin breathes. Open up your pores and breathe that light all the way in. And exhale out all that no longer serves you. You feel that shift?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is great. And we will be back next month. to do another segment. I really want to bring awareness to this. I think it's important that those people who want to wake up can hear from a reliable source, as you are.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you for continuing to watch Conversations with Jennylyn. Someone sent me a message saying, thank you for blazing the trail. Well, I will do that because I am an honest, open person. I bring information, and hopefully all that you watch is resonating and making your life better, because I have these conversations to hopefully inspire and encourage. And that is my goal, to make the world a better place and to create a tsunami of change for the better in the world. So thank you again for watching me, and I will see you soon at a new segment.
Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.